Hey everyone, so going to do a pickups video today. Haven't done one of these in a while. Obviously I had my reset where I was kind of culling a few bits in the collection. So yeah, I've been trying to ease up, or I did ease up for that sort of month or so while I was sorting that out. Got rid of hundreds of titles, which meant hundreds of pounds in CEX credit when I chopped them in. Passed a few on, dropped a few into charity. But yeah, did that. Got quite a lot more space now on the shelves. You can't really see from here, I think, but actually, yeah, maybe you can. Yeah, so lots more space on the shelves here compared to what I had. No more sort of stacks building up on the floor, well, not as much anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to do two separate videos. I'll do this pickups video because I've not done one in a while. So this is a big sort of like pile of stuff from this month and probably last month with a few bits I picked up there. This is just going to be Blu-ray and DVD. And then because I was sort of upgrading a lot of titles, I'll do a separate video later on, basically doing all the 4Ks that I upgraded from the Blu-ray. So effectively just swapping them out on the shelves, Blu-rays for 4Ks. So anyway, that's enough waffling. Let's get on with the video. So yeah, got a big stack here to go through. I'll be fairly quick as I can. I do blame you guys, a lot of you guys, for most of these pickups. I've been watching lots of you guys' videos, obviously, like I normally do. And yeah, I'll point them out as I go along, as if I've sort of been influenced by anyone out there, and sort of shout you out along the way. So yeah, let's get into it. So not a particular order or anything here really. So I did a little kind of shop in CX not too long ago. And basically these were titles that I just kind of thought they were quite reasonable for what they are. They go for a lot more generally online. And they were titles that had some sort of interest or sparked interest when I was reading up on them. I think this first one, to be fair, I can't remember who I heard it from. Probably 2 or 3 different people over the years have kind of mentioned this one as being pretty good. So yeah, apologies, can't remember who recommended this one, but I know Tim Cole spoke about this one quite recently to me as well and said it was pretty good. And that is Only Lovers Left Alive. So yeah, I don't really know a lot about this one, but for £4 in credit, it was quite an easy pickup for me. I think it's some sort of vampire type movie, but I could be way off. So yeah, that's the first one I picked up. So this one is a title I'd never heard of before, but again, just scrolling through the CX I was going to travel to, basically, I had a look on the app, and for this looks interesting. It's got Sienna Miller in it, called American Woman. So yeah, I hadn't heard of this one, but for £3, sounded pretty interesting. As soon as I start recording, someone's got the hammer out outside, so apologies if you've got earbuds in and you're listening. Seriously, all morning, nothing. Anyway, we'll power on. I'm sorry if you can hear tapping or banging in the background. A 32-year-old woman's teen daughter goes missing as she's left to raise her infant grandson alone. The story is told over the course of 11 years. We journey with her from the time her daughter vanishes through the trials and tribulations of subsequent years, and ultimately the long-awaited discovery of the truth. So yeah, it looks like a pretty good crime, kind of like thriller. Yeah, Sienna Miller, I've seen her a few things, but it just sort of piqued my interest, and like I say, £3 in credit, it's sort of so easy to pick it up. So this next one seems to fluctuate in price quite a lot online. So when I saw it for the £5, I thought I'd pick it up. And I do like Daniel Radcliffe, which is kind of like the main guy in this one. And that is a movie called Kill Your Darlings. So again, hadn't heard of it, but I hadn't seen this one previously. Yeah, don't know a lot about this one, so I'm going to get stuck into this one. I think it gets pretty good reviews, to be fair. So I'll check it out at some point. So don't ask about this next one. I just watched this one when I was around a mate's house years ago, and I thought I hadn't seen it in so long. It was a £5, and I think it's one that's going out of print. So that's Mel Gibson in What Women Want. Yeah, some sort of chick flick. But I remember it having quite a few good laughs in there, and it's probably one of those ones that, you know, maybe a bit controversial nowadays in terms of what it's going for. So this other one I had on DVD way back, and I can't remember if I saw it on DVD or not, or whether I actually just skipped over it. But again, another highly rated one in terms of, you know, IMDb and such, and that is a movie called Red Road. Now, this one I never see pop up in any CX near me, so when I saw it pop up near me for around that price, I was quite intrigued. So let's find a bit of information on this one. So Jackie works as a CCTV operator in Glasgow. Each day she watches over a small part of the world, protecting people living their lives under her gaze. One day a man appears on her monitor whom she thought she would never see again, whom she never wanted to see again, and now she has no choice but is compelled to confront him. Red Road is a raw but beautifully observed account of tragedy, grief, and atonement. So yeah, I think that one, you know, if anyone's seen this one, let me know down below. But yeah, that one looks, again, really interesting, and I swear I had it before, but yeah, thought I'd pick it up as the rarity seemed to be there for it. So this one, again, I like the first one of these movies. I haven't seen this one, but I've been wanting to check it out. I think this was about £4 in ZX when I picked it up. But that's the sequel to Train to Busan, so that is the Peninsula. So I haven't watched this as yet, but yeah, I do want to check this out pretty soon. This one is one that I blame Sammy G for. So Sammy G, this is your fault. I was watching a video from Sammy G a while back where he went through his Criterion collection, and one that stood out to me was Midnight Cowboy. So yeah, again, haven't seen this movie. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I did have the standard edition. I chopped that in when this one appeared in a local CX to me for pretty reasonable. I think it was £12, £10, something like that. So when you take a couple of quid off that as well, it was worth picking up the Criterion. So yeah, it does come inside with the booklet and such. So yeah, so Sammy G, blaming that one squarely on you, pal. So this one, now someone else to blame. This is, I'm not really blaming you guys, you know, but yeah, this one was influenced by Ollie. Ollie loves movies. And he was doing a good video quite a while back now, I think it was, but it was like a coming of age type movies. But yeah, and there was a few on there that I hadn't seen, I'd heard of before, but just never got to. So I searched for Mystic Pizza, which I've heard about quite a few times, but I've just never got around to checking out. Obviously Julia Roberts in this one, but yeah, Ollie was singing its praises, so you know, I'm going to give this one a spin. And similarly, off the same video Ollie did there, I'm sure he mentioned this movie, which is Ladybird. Again, I'd seen it around, but I just never dived into it, didn't know what it was about, but it turns out I think it's a bit more of a coming-of-age type movie, which I'm all in for. It was only a couple of pounds, I think, off of Vinted, so I've been shopping on Vinted a little bit more recently. You can get some proper good bargains on there. But yeah, I didn't realise, I think this is an A24 movie, so I do like the majority of A24 movies. So when I heard A24 plus Ollie talking about it, thought, yeah, a couple of quid, I'm in. So this one was a blast from the past. So this was one I did check out when I was a teen. One of those teen comedies from back in the day that you probably wouldn't make nowadays. And I'll be honest, when I watched it back as a teen, I wasn't overly impressed with it. I thought it was okay, but I didn't think it was great. But I'm really glad to say that I imported this disc, and on a rewatch, I think maybe because now I'm older and I understand it a bit better, this actually surprised me. I thought this was really, really good. And that is The Girl Next Door. I've got a feeling Ollie had this in his video as well. So yeah, it may well have been Ollie's that sort of persuaded me again on this one. But yeah, really good. This one is the unrated version. I'm not sure if you can get a rated version. Probably can somewhere. But yeah, this one, if you haven't seen it, it's not quite what it seems. So it sort of is, sort of isn't. So this one is this guy basically, or this teen kid, he's living in his house and he notices this girl move in next door. And yeah, he falls head over heels for her basically, and surprisingly she seems quite interested in him. So they start sort of seeing each other. I'm not going to spoil too much in this, but yeah, him and his friends from the sort of early 2000s, that sort of humour behind it. They can't believe that this girl is sort of attracted to this teen kid basically, but she starts pushing his boundaries. He's quite a, you know, shy, sort of fairly timid guy at the start, but she sort of brings the she brings more out of him, shall we say. So she gives him like loads of opportunities to basically, you know, push some boundaries that he would never done before, just because he wants to sort of like be cool and like hang out with her basically. But yeah, and it sort of like goes in a slightly different direction as it tails towards the end, but it's not quite what you think it's going to do. And yeah, the ending's pretty good on this one. I really like this one. I'd forgotten how it ended, so yeah, really enjoyed this one on a rewatch. So that is The Girl Next Door. So a classic, I think this one is deemed as, and I've never seen it, so I thought I'd have to pick it up. I found it on eBay for fairly, I think it was £8, something like that, but might have been a bit less, somewhere around the £8 mark. And yeah, is The Sandlot, which I think is The Sandlot Kids, possibly, in another description. But yeah, I can't say too much about it because I've never seen it, but I'm pretty sure it's one of those sort of like classic coming-of-age stories, you know, childhood stories from back in the 80s, 90s. So yeah, looking forward to checking that one out. So this one I was on a bit of a sort of like coming of age / 80s and 90s sort of like binge, I suppose, a while back. So this one's been sitting in my wish list for the longest time on eBay, and again I think I got this one from the same seller as the Sandlot for a lot less than what it was from a new company on eBay. And that is Revenge of the Nerds. So I have watched this one many years ago. I can't remember too much about it. I think again it's one of those ones now that you'd never get away with today, especially a certain scene I think I remember towards the end of the movie in there. But yeah, good old fashioned kind of like comedy fun, teen comedies, coming of age movies, that's the sort of thing. So again, another one that I'd had in my wish list for the longest time, and I just kept putting it off and putting it off week after week. But I thought, no, now I'm sort of cutting the collection and focusing on titles that I do want sitting on the shelf. This is a Ryan Reynolds movie that I've watched back in the day and thought was hilarious. So I hope it still holds up. I haven't checked it out again since. But this again is the unrated and raw version of a movie called Waiting. So yeah, I think it's got some pretty gross out moments in this one, I remember. I think the vague outline is this guy works in a restaurant, and I think basically the tagline, if there's a tagline here somewhere, I think there's a good tagline for this movie, but essentially it says don't pee off the people that serve your food, and you'll find out why if you watch this movie. So yeah, really good teen comedy if I remember from back in the day. So on a very similar note, these ones have also been sitting in my sort of like wish list for absolutely ages. And then I noticed on Amazon one time they had a sort of like a deal come up. I say a deal, it was £20-25 for the three. But yeah, all three movies of Howard and Kumar. So yep, so Howard and Kumar go to White Castle, which I think in the UK used to be called Get the Munchies. So like, weed smoking guys, teen comedies from back in the day, go on an adventure. Then you got the sequel in there, which is Escape from Guantanamo Bay, which you can pick up on the UK DVD or Blu-ray, but I think this one you can only get on DVD to my knowledge. I don't think you can get the UK Blu-ray of that, so I had to get a double pack here and import it in. But yeah, both unrated versions of those. And then the last one that came in with the sort of package that they were doing on Amazon was the last one in this, A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas, which I don't think I've seen. I've seen these two, but I haven't seen these two yet. So this one, yeah, sorry. But yeah, be looking forward to that. I'll probably tuck that away for the next couple of months and play out towards December. And I was on a bit of a comedy kick, as you can tell from all these titles. I thought I would pick up one that I hadn't seen in years. I had it on DVD and I used to watch it quite a lot of times. I just found this hilarious, and it shows my absolute, quite literally, toilet humour that I have. If you haven't seen this and you're into really sort of like lowbrow toilet humour, highly recommend it. It is a movie called Kenny, and it is a sort of mockumentary. So it's shot like a real documentary of this, basically this following this guy around who runs a Portaloo business. So it follows him taking these Portaloos around to festivals and venues and things around the country, in America, I think it is. And he's just such a charismatic guy. He's such a funny guy, like naturally funny, just like the stuff he says. If you're not sure, check out the trailer. There's some hilarious moments in the trailer. But yeah, it's a bit of a sort of like comedy slash romance comedy towards the middle and end. But yeah, this guy's just so watchable. I could watch this over and over. And yeah, as you can see, £1 in CEX. I think there's a few of them around. So yeah, worth checking that out. It's a movie called Kenny. Now, coming away from the sort of comedy binge I had there, I picked up this movie called Robot Dreams. Now, this one I just saw, I think, on an app somewhere when I was checking new titles coming out, and it looked really interesting. I hadn't seen anything with this sort of like look to it before in terms of animation. So I looked deeper into the story, and yeah, to be honest, it's a Curzon movie, I think it is, Curzon film, that you can see on there. Yeah, it's really good. I really enjoyed this one. It is one of those ones which tests whether you've got a soul or not. So basically, if you can watch this one and not shed a tear, you may be an android. But yeah, really recommend this one. It's like, I think it's basically silent, and not that it's, there's no talking in it essentially, but there's music and the sound effects and stuff. But it's about this dog who's like really lonely. So he ends up ordering himself a robot to be like a companion with him. And I won't say too much more than that, but yeah, if it looks anywhere near interesting to you, I'd really suggest you'd look into this one and maybe check it out. This one I picked up because it came on eBay for, I think, $4.99, buy it now, and yeah, I wanted to check it out. I have checked it out and I thought it's really good. I enjoyed it, and that is the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I know it's got its problems, and people have got like, mixed opinions on it. For me, it did the job. It did everything I wanted it to do. I saw the Ghostbusters, I saw the Ecto-1, I saw Slimer, There was a big bad guy. It looked good. Popcorn fun. This one's Roy's fault, so Blue Roy Movies. Yeah, I was watching one of Roy's videos, and I'm sure it was Roy, and he was singing the praises of this movie. So it got me searching on the old apps when he was talking about it, and I found it was in a near CX to me, so I thought I'll next time I go past that one, I will have a check in and see if it's still there, and sure enough it was. And that is a movie called Shoplifters. So yeah, I know very little about this one. If you want to know more, go and check out Roy's video. It's somewhere back on his playlist, I'm sure, in one of his pickups. But yeah, I've heard it's really good. I've not heard anything negative about this film. Obviously, it's a foreign movie. Don't know much about it, but happy to check that one out. As you do when you're in a CEX and you go in with sort of like all good intentions of not spending too much, you often see the odd one or two things which you just think, oh, it's too good to pass on. So obviously 101 do this Black Label special edition box sets, which I've got a few of. And there was one on the shelf there which I saw for £6, and I thought £6 for that when in this condition. I hadn't got it yet, and I was really wanted to sort of like check it out, because as you can tell from the kind of like flavours I've been going for sort of like the last month or so, teen comedies, coming of age movies, that was the sort of thing I was onto. And that is a movie called Rock and Roll High School. Yeah, don't know a great deal about it. All I know is I saw it in CEX, and like I say, it comes with the booklet inside. So you've got all your booklet in there. The case is in great condition, obviously the movie and the disc inside as well. But yeah, had to pick that one up. I think someone's put the hammer away now, thank God. Right, so another one which again, I think this has got quite bad reviews to be fair, but I do like to check things out for myself, so I thought I'd pick it up and just, you know, this is the kind of movie I want to throw up on a big screen on the old projector system, and just lose myself. I do like a bit of sci-fi, so yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of sci-fi. Going to give it a go. I haven't seen it as yet, and that is the ISS, which is, I think it's the International Space Station. Yeah, as I say, don't know a great deal. I just flipped it over. I think it was about £5-6 in CEX, again with credit. Had a few copies in there, which sometimes is a bad sign that everyone's bought it and then shopped it in. But yeah, thought I'd give it a go. Don't know much to tell you. So this one's actually just come in today. So this one, I bought this one solely for the third movie. This is a trilogy set. And this is, basically I've seen all three of these movies. The third one is probably the worst, but probably my favourite. It's one of those so bad it's good. If you like things like The Garbage Pail Kids, you need to check out Ghoulies 3. So this has got 1, 2 and 3 in this. This is a German import edition. It's got 3 discs in there. You can flip the artwork so you don't have that sort of logo on the front. So you have Ghoulies, Ghoulies 2 and Ghoulies, I think it's known as Ghoulies Go to College number 3. Might be wrong, because I think there's a 4th one out there somewhere as well. I'm not sure what that's called. But yeah, Ghoulies 1, 2 and 3. Now 3, I watched it absolutely years ago, and I remember it being so hilariously bad. I just loved it. So yeah, I just thought I had to get this one. I know you can get 1 and 2 up on, is it 101 Red Label, I think. But I really just bought it for the third movie. It's quite pricey out there, so you might be paying a little bit if you really want to go for this one. So you might be able to find it streaming somewhere. Highly recommend number 3 if you like bad movies. So I mentioned in a video or 2 ago, I think, that I went to a horror festival in October. So yeah, that was really good. Watched so many horror movies. They're all on my Letterboxd if you follow me on there. So you might just see a day, well, 3 days actually, where I just absolutely annihilate loads of movies in one go. That will be my festival. And then the guy there, Andy, who runs it, he was giving out basically freebies every now and again. So I just happened to walk in and he was sort of throwing out Second Sight box sets for free. So I managed to grab myself May. Now I watched this one on DVD years back and thought it's pretty good. I did get tempted to pick it up on this nice Blu-ray sort of set there as well, but I just didn't quite pull the trigger because I couldn't remember how good it was from years ago, remembering the DVD. But yeah, to get it for nothing, obviously super happy with that one. And I do want to check it out. It's in my sort of October watch list or watch pile, so I'll be checking it out pretty soon. So this next one, so this one I think I'm going to blame, is it Noodlegs? I think it's Noodlegs. I do watch his channel quite a lot, but yeah, apologies if I got the name wrong of the channel there, pal. I'll try and link all these channels down below so you know who I'm talking about if you're interested. But this one he's brought up a few times on his channel, and it looks really interesting. So is someone else, I think. So apologies to that person, I can't remember. But I know he's the sort of the one I've seen it most on. And that is a movie called Hush. So yeah, I sought this one out after watching his videos, and yeah, it looks really good. Again, it's in my horror pile to watch for the month of October. I've been doing loads and loads of horror movies through this month. I don't know how many, more than 31 already, and I'm not even pretty much just over halfway. So yeah, this one's really good. Apparently it's like one of these, I think it's meant to be a bit like, where is it? Yeah, I think it's meant to be a bit like the movie Roadkill, sort of, I'm not sure, but yeah, or otherwise known as Joyride, that one. But yeah, thought I'd pick this one up. I think it's like an abduction type movie, kind of a horror, British, I think. Yeah, but it's British horror movie in years. So really happy to stick that in the watch list for October. I think that was about £4, something like that. Now this one was another random one, which just happened to be in the CX I was in, and I think about £3. It was a horror. It says from the director of Saw 2, 3 and 4. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's called, I think, Abattoir. So yeah, good, interesting cover, but it could well be. It's an 18 as well, so if it's an 18, a few pound, it's a horror. Happy to check it out. Again, I don't know much about this one, but I was just trying to boost up some horror watch list ready for this month. Now, one I have seen quite a way back, and I know it got a little bit of hype when it first came out, but it seems to have fizzled out a bit now. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it recently, and that is a movie called Lodge. So I had to import this one. Again, this was a Vinted one I think I picked up from, because it's quite pricey to pick it up anywhere else. Vinted, I just got a really good deal on it, £5 or so I think, compared to double that on anywhere else. Now there is a different Lodge out there, but this one has this one, let's see what I can say. So this one, it's all in German, so I can't tell you too much. But I remember watching this one, and this one's, I think, basically this couple go away to this lodge in the sort of snow and ice, and they've got the 2 kids there. I've got a feeling she's the stepmom, if I remember rightly. Please correct me down below if I'm wrong. And yeah, these sort of like weird, it's almost like, I know it's weird to put this in a category of film, but like an A24 movie, you know, things like Mother and Midsummer, that sort of thing. It's that sort of slow burn vibe to it. But yeah, I remember really enjoying this when I watched it on streaming when it first came out. I've been wanting to pick it up for a while, so yeah, happy to pick that in the collection. Don't get it confused with another Lodge, which is 101 over here. Do a movie called Lodge on the red label, which is not that. It's a completely different film, much more lower budget, arguably not as good, although I've just picked it up because I wanted to again rewatch it for October. But yeah, that's the one over the 2 I would highly recommend compared to those 2. Nearly there, so we've got 2 more to go through. So I don't know if you've watched the channel for quite some time, you would have known I've been picking up the Hatchet movies. So my biggest thing with the Hatchet movies is I wanted to get them all uncut. So there's 4 movies, Hatchet movies, and I had number 1, number 2 and number 4 just because they came up at good prices when I was searching. But number 3 was the only one I think that was pretty much hard to find on a region B. Not that it matters too much, but I try and get region B if I can over region A, just to give me more kind of like options in players where I can put the thing. But if I have to, I will go region A, which is what I had to do with this one. So this one is, again, super pricey everywhere, but I think it went down to about £12, £13 somewhere on eBay, so I snapped it up. That's the uncut version, obviously, of number 3, giving it away there and chatting about it. But yeah, these are good sort of teen splatter fun movies, over the top gore, and I think, yeah, the uncut versions, I think they just hold on to a bit more splatter every time they end up doing someone in. So yeah, that was a highlight for me. So I think I've got the 4 of them now. I don't think there's any more. Again, tell me if there's more below. And then this last one, I don't think I've shown this one off yet but I found this in a charity shop, I think, for a couple of quid, and I'd never heard of it before, so maybe it's just me, but it got me from the cover. This one says from the director of Wreck, so if you're familiar with Wreck, I think Spanish horror I want to say, but like found footage horror, then apparently from the director of Wreck is a movie called Sleep Tight. So yeah, obviously loads of 4 stars on there. Sometimes they're trying to oversell that if it's a bad movie, but yeah, don't know. Expect sleepless nights, nail-biting, tense, slow burn, psychological horror. Someone is watching over you. sounds interesting. So You'll Never Be Safe Again. So just this one's a bit more or less known, I think, so I'll give you a bit more of info on as well. From the director of Wreck, Sleep Tight is the terrifying new psychological horror likened by critics as a Hitchcockian masterpiece, starring Louis Toscar? Cell 221, apparently. I'm not familiar with him. Like most, Clara felt there was no place safer than home. She would go about her daily routine, blissfully unaware that the uninvited guest watching her every move. When small things started to change around her flat, she began to question her sanity. But nothing can prepare her for the horrifying truth. Soon she will discover the sickening extremes her twisted predator has in store for her. So yeah, I don't think there's anything too savage on the back, so I can probably show the back a bit more close up. But yeah, that looks really interesting, and like I say, I'm a big fan of Wreck, so I thought, never seen it, never heard of it. I think it sells for a bit more than £2 in CEX. So yeah, picked that up in the charity shop, quite a rare find, I think. That's probably it. There's a few more, I might have slipped through the net somewhere there, but basically that's the bulk of what I bought up in the last couple of months on Blu-ray. So like I said, I'm going to do another video separate to this, with all the 4K upgrades, just to show you guys what I've upgraded to 4K or picked up on 4K, some things that I haven't upgraded technically, but yeah, I'll just do 2 separate videos, otherwise it will be here for like hours and hours. So yeah, thanks to everyone who's watched the video, thanks to everyone who's recommendations for these films that are in here, and I'll try and put links down below to all the guys that have kind of like influenced me along the way on my pickups for these couple of months, and I'll see you next time. Thanks everyone, bye.